So recording has started. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining for another session of Azure Power Lunch. We have, um, our ISV Fortanix, and they're going to talk about, their key vault solution. So, Fortanix, please take away. Floor is yours.
Excellent. Hi, guys. This is my name is Fayaz Shaparwala. I'm the Chief Product and Strategy Officer for the company. Along with me, I have Anand Kashyap here. He's the CTO and co-founder for the company. So, and we've got a couple of folks in the room, but we're going to spend some time today kind of sharing with you not only the Fortanix solution, but more importantly, how we can help kind of customers that are on this journey to cloud, where security is a big barrier to getting to cloud, and we solve one or two or three of the very, very, very key problems. And we want to talk about what we do, and then how importantly, we work with Microsoft on driving those solutions on, in Azure. So with that, just a quick synopsis on Fortanix. Fortanix is a company we've been around for 3 years. Our focus is really around runtime encryption, and I'll share some more details on what that is. And we have two key products in that area. And Intel is one of our key investors in the company. And we've been in the market with our products for now over a couple of years with some very large customers, and of course big cloud providers. So what are the big pain points that and why us, right? As we think about encryption as a service, and key management is a part of it. But really, if you think about the themes that are kind of playing out, digital transformation is happening at a very, very rapid rate. IoT is a big focus. So Internet of Things is a big focus. Everything that we know around us is getting smarter, whether it's in the building, whether it's in manufacturing, whether it's smart cars. So as you have smart devices, you absolutely need to be pushing down digital certificates into those devices, and you need to be managing the authentication for those devices, and that is into billions of devices. Customers are migrating into cloud at a massive rate. Security has always been a big issue as customers go to cloud and multi-cloud, and the big issue there is how do we make sure that the workloads that we're running in the cloud, whether there are applications, whether there are databases, that we are able to really control or trust the authenticity of the workloads and where we're running those workloads on the cloud. And encryption is a very important piece of that puzzle. And we kind of help solve that problem. So, and I'll spend a few minutes talking about the use cases. And while these are in the context of cloud, which is really important, these also apply to on-prem. So, and just in terms of my quick background, before coming to Fortanix a month ago, I was running IBM Cloud. And I think one of the biggest challenges that I kept hearing from large customers is, when they go to cloud, there were two big problems. One is networking, and the other was security. And around security, there were a few things around compliance, but also the one big thing that always kept coming up was, I do not want to necessarily export my keys into the cloud. So how do I bring my own keys, or how do I bring my own KMS? How do I provide, a single pane of glass, whether I'm in one cloud or multi-cloud, that I'm able to effectively manage the auditability, logging, all of it in one place, whether it's key creation of keys, key rotations, deletion of keys, all of that, right? So I think that's a key big requirement, as something that we solve as a company, and we have kind of many customers that are we're already working with, and some of them are on Azure cloud. So that's one big key area and a big focus. The other big thing that we heard is around database/application encryption. I'm running my database, also sometimes called as transparent data encryption, but I'm running my workloads, my databases in the cloud. I want to make sure that I'm able to encrypt that. I want to use encryption key. That's maybe not in the cloud. That's coming from on-prem, or that's coming from, you know, as a service, where they may have the encryption as a service running. So we provide that for the customers as well, and that's again a big requirement for most sensitive workloads that customers have running in the cloud. And so that how do they control the databases or their applications? Uh, the third big area is around, and I know this is a very important area for Azure as well, is around secure IoT. And again, I touched on this a little bit, but as more and more Internet of Things are happening, we are seeing, and we have a few customers here, joint customers. One of them being Blackboard, that is already an Azure Fortanix customer running on Azure right now, where they they have smart devices, some form of devices, which they need to authenticate, and they need key management and encryption as a service to authenticate. And they, of course, then are they're also leveraging, IoT services, IoT Hub from the middleware from Azure, and then leveraging our key management services to authenticate all these devices. And as you can imagine, there'll be millions of these devices out there that could be talking to the Azure or IoT Hub, leveraging the middleware, and then also they'll be wanting key management services. And in those cases, the customers can be running those key management services, our services in Azure cloud, or they could be running it on-prem. And so that is a very key use case. And we are seeing we have quite a few customers that are looking at this area, given the scale requirements and given the as a service requirements and given the simplicity requirements. Um, the other area and is blockchain. Another key area for requires, as you can see, this is a multi-party authentication requirements when you go to blockchain. And there are two key things here. I mean, one is that you want to be able to clearly authenticate who you are in your workflow, who you are doing business with. But also the second and the more important thing is that where are you running those things? Are we running our blockchain code on a trusted, in a secure, trusted, or confidential compute type of environment, right? And clearly, Azure offers that today in the form of your confidential compute. And so both those things, whether it's encryption as well as providing the confidential compute infrastructure globally, becomes very important as part of blockchain. So it's an area that we see a lot of traction on. The other use case I have here is around what I call multi-party analytics. This one is truly becoming more and more important. I think it's an area that we have a couple of our very large customers, and I'll describe the use case in a second, but that from Japan, a big service provider in Europe, that we're actively working with them on Azure. And again, because this requires the whole intent behind the solution is we've got multiple parties that want to bring a piece of information to a common trusted place. The trusted place has to be, running in this confidential compute environment, which infrastructure is supported by, Azure, and Azure, one of the few cloud providers that support that today. And then that they can be authenticated over there. They can work on that common kind of piece of code or whatever analysis that needs to be done between the two parties in a trusted area. So, this solution is sometimes called multi-party analytics or multi-party compute, and it's something that is a big requirement for many companies, whether it's in healthcare or financial services or other areas. And we can have a solution for that using this underlying trusted compute or enclave technology, along with our encryption as a service. And again, we have quite a few customers that are already working with us on Azure Compute, and many that are in early stages. But it's one that we believe is going to have a tremendous opportunity as well. And then, of course, last.
This is
Sorry,
Naveen.
go ahead.
Man, we have 30 minutes and we already on like 13-minute mark. I would say that, I think the audience is fairly technical, so they understand these scenarios and the need
Okay.
for encryption. So if you can jump on the solution, I think that will be the best. Just suggesting the best use of our time.
Sure, sure. Happy to do that. And then
Thank you.
again, I won't touch on GDPR. You guys already know that, but it's something that we can solve for. So, and I think the one question, so as far as the Fortanix solution, um, you know, the between today, if you were trying to put encryption as a service, and which is, a combination of things where customers want key management, tokenization, secrets management, you know, HSM in many cases where you come from sensitive environments like healthcare or finance, you have to put in 5 or 6 different vendors to, go to and piece all these things together. There's not an easy cloud native SaaS solution that could either run on-prem or in the cloud or in hybrid multi-cloud. And we've really solved that problem. And we offer this in kind of, multiple modes, right? So we offer it as a solution, and we have 2 solutions, but we offer it as a solution on-prem, or you can even run it in the cloud. It could be an Azure cloud, and we have many customers doing that, running it on Azure cloud today in their own account per se, right? So as a single tenanted offer, if they want to do so. And if they want a SaaS service, we also offer that. We have a partner, Equinix, and if you go to smartkey.io, they can also leverage it as a SaaS service. So we have all kind of 3 mechanisms: on-prem, running it in cloud in your own kind of single tenant model, or running it as a service, a SaaS service, leveraging the Equinix Smart Key play. So and then and I'll get into more details, and Anand will get into more details on our SDKMS product in a second, and we'll jump into the demos. And the second product we have is around our runtime encryption platform, which allows customers that want to run specific applications or pieces of applications that may have in very secure, confidential compute, enclaves, which Azure supports. And I think that's an area that we are jointly. I gave you an example of multi-party analytics, but that's an area that we can jointly drive together in big accounts as well. So I think both these solutions are kind of prime for us to work jointly on in solving customer problems that are going to cloud. So Anand, with that, can I have you jump into the details of our SDKMS and do the demo?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks. My name is Anand Kashyap. I'm co-founder and CTO of Fortanix. I'll spend just a couple of minutes talking about the one product, SDKMS, and Fayaz introduced that. And then I'll show a quick demo of how SDKMS is being used by some of our customers in some of the use cases. So what SDKMS is a platform for doing encryption and key management. It's called a self-defending key management system, and it's a unified product that brings together the characteristics of an HSM, a key management system, tokenization, as well as secrets management. And typically all 4 of these things were sold as separate products. What we have done is combine everything using our runtime encryption platform and offer it as one single product. It's available in multiple form factors. So it's available as SaaS. It's available as a software-only solution. It can be deployed inside Azure on Azure VMs. It's also available as a FIPS 140-2 level 3 certified appliance. All these options are available. And with this product, what we have done is we've done 3 things. One is simplicity. We have simplified the interface, how people can use it, interact with it, how they manage it. The second thing is security. So we built it on top of our runtime encryption platform, which means that the keys are always secure. This is the only product where running it in the cloud, we can claim that we don't have access to the customer keys. The cloud provider doesn't have access to the customer keys either. And the third thing is scalability. So we have made it cloud ready. It is infinitely scalable. You can keep adding more nodes in a cluster of SDKMS nodes. And when you do that, the capacity that you have in terms of how many cryptographic operations you can run per second, it keeps increasing. It's very elastic. All the benefits of distributed systems like fault tolerance, high availability, disaster recovery, all those things are built into the solution so that once you've deployed SDKMS, you don't need to bring an external load balancer, an external database, or anything like that. It's all a self-contained platform. So what I'll do is I'll switch to a demo and I'll show how the product looks like and how some of our customers are using it. Right, can you see my browser window?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this is the web UI for the product. Let me log in into an account. And I'll show two use cases. The first one is for an enterprise environment. Let's call the company a large oil and gas company. And this is how it looks like when you log in. You see a dashboard. You can organize your keys and users and applications in various ways. So here, the use case here is the customer wants to have a single pane of glass where they manage all the keys that they make available to different cloud, and they're in a multi-cloud environment. So they create a group for GCP, Azure, and AWS, and they call them BYOK groups. And then they have multiple administrators. They have an Azure administrator who only has access to the Azure keys. They have a AWS admin who has access to AWS keys, so you can do all these kinds of access control. And then they have created some keys. So there are some wrapping keys for wrapping the key that they want to bring in from outside. And then there are some master keys that they're creating here. And then those keys will be wrapped with the wrapping key and imported into the cloud provider, into the cloud. So for example, there's an Azure master key, which is an AES key, and there'll be the client application will take this key, wrap it, and make it available to Azure. And then you get the full benefits of a key management platform. You can do simple things like rotating a key. So if you rotate a key, a new key will get created with the same name. And now you'll still have the old key if you need, and the name will be changed to reflect that it has been rotated. And then you can do various things like deactivating the key or disabling the key, things like that. You also have complete auditability. So as the keys are being created, being imported into the cloud environments, you can go into the audit logs, and all these logs can be exported to another logging system like a syslog or Splunk or something in the cloud as well, where people can go and visualize all these things. So basically, this becomes a platform for an administrator for the large enterprise company. They manage all the keys centrally, make it available to the services and applications in the cloud whenever they need it.
Yeah, so again, intent here is that you have your, you are consuming Azure services in cloud, or you are running your own applications. You get a HSM in cloud. You don't have to manage it. It's already managed. And you can consume the HSM as a service, or you can use or deploy the same HSM in form factor of appliances for your on-prem, and you have one single control point. And then you can bring your keys to on-prem environment, to remote environment. You can use IoT services from Azure. You can do key provisioning. You can do database encryption. You can do tokenization. You can do secret management. You might have different passwords and API keys. You can revoke those. You can set access control on them. You can set policies such that this key can be used once or twice, and everything is logged and connected with your Splunk.
Yeah, so you can go to.
I have a quick question. You mentioned HSM as a service. Let me just be very clear. I mean, HSM means hardware security module. So when you are providing this, how you're doing this? I mean, because in Azure you cannot deploy any appliance. So I just want to.
Yeah, great question. So all the functionality that you are seeing on this screen and what we have been talking about, this is being delivered from an appliance that Fortanix has built, and that appliance is certified by NIST for FIPS 140-2 level 3. So it is an HSM, but it's also KMS, key management service. It's also tokenization, etc. And then we deliver it two different ways. We have a service running outside Azure, right? It's called a Smart Key, where we partner with Equinix, and we put in close proximity with Azure locations. So for Azure customers, it's native experience, and that's what, for example, Blackboard is doing. So they get it as service, and for on-prem, of course, they can take appliances and deploy it, but the experience is the same.
So let me demonstrate how Blackboard is using the service, for example. So if I log in as different user.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay, so we created a company, let's say we call it Whiteboard here. And again, they get this this portal where they manage their keys and their access control and everything. What they've also done is they've written a plugin. And plugin is some kind of custom code that they can write, which runs inside a secure execution environment. And this plugin was written to do some cryptography, do some key management to comply with the cryptographic requirements that Apple had put on them to run with to provide a cryptographic service and use it for the payment system inside that ecosystem. And every time a student who uses the service wants to pay for something in their cafeteria or in their laundry service using their smart device, a request comes to Blackboard's services, their deployment in Azure, and from there the request comes to us where a plugin is invoked and then a set of cryptographic operations are performed. There's some key exchange that happens from the IoT device and the key that's stored inside the private key stored here. And based on that, some other keys are created, other keys are derived, and then some final operation takes place. And all these operations, the sequence of operations need to happen inside a secure execution environment, which they're able to do by running this plugin. And again, if you go to the, go ahead, there's a question.
Yeah, I mean, I want to ask, like, how does it compare with Azure Key Vault? I mean, I'm sure there are more capabilities here, but I mean, what are some of the things that to
Yeah.
you say you should use this one versus Key Vault? Because definitely that's a native service.
Yeah, great question. So Azure Key Vault is written so that it's built to work with all the Azure services. So if you're using deep database as a service, you're using Azure storage, all those things, then you'd use Azure Key Vault. So if you're using Azure native services, but if somebody is running their own custom application in Azure, in that case, some of our customers find that Azure Key Vault does not have all the cryptographic operations, the scale, the interfaces they need. For example, some of them use a PKCS11 interface or a KMIP interface, but Azure just provides a REST API. So if you're running your own application in the cloud in Azure, then you would want to have your own key management, and Azure Key Vault will not apply for those use cases.
Okay.
And of course, we support Azure Key Vault, and we are working with some deeper integration. So Azure Key Vault requires, like HSM backend, etc. So this could be that. We also have plans to, make sure that when customers are moving their things from on-prem to Azure or vice versa, their encryption experience doesn't change. And so basically, Azure Key Vault is much more complementary. The overlap is very little.
Any other questions?
Hey, Amber Imtiaz here. Do you want to just highlight the dependency on DC series machine?
Yes. Great question. Yeah, so basically what Fortanix's runtime encryption does is, right, it allows any application or any data or any keys to remain completely protected and secure and private, even if your root password is compromised, even if you have operating system vulnerabilities, even if somebody has physical access. So we use our runtime encryption technology to protect our SDKMS. That's what you are seeing here. But the same way, this runtime encryption technology is now also available on Azure machines, right? So DC series. So we can just provide our software binary, software blob, SDKMS that now runs on DC series. And when it does that, although it does not qualify as HSM, right, because it does not have FIPS 140-2 level 3 certification, but it has level 1 certification. But much more importantly, it is just as secure or more secure than any commercial HSM in the world. So even if somebody has physical access to the DC machine where your this STKMS instance is running, they will not be able to look at any of your key material. So now you have like cloud scale software flexibility with utmost security guarantees possible.
Great.
And building upon that, right, runtime encryption platform, we can also bring your own applications. So you might have seen something called confidential compute. So we are founding member of that along with Microsoft and others. And the vision of that consortium is to provide a cloud framework where customers can bring their most sensitive applications to cloud, right? And not worry about security and privacy. So they will have complete control. And I mean, and our vision is that you can take your most sensitive applications, run in some remote countries where you don't trust the government or things like that, or people there, and still maintain complete privacy of your applications. So, and that is now not just possible, but available on Azure DC series machine with Fortanix.
Excellent. Excellent. No, that's very good information. Will you be able to share this slide deck?
Yes, we can. We will. Should I send it across to you, Imtiaz?
Just send it to me. Yeah,
Yeah,
send it to
me and Naveed will just publish it.
yeah,
And
send it to Imtiaz and
as
I will publish it. That's fine.
yeah, and we are right on the top of the 30 minutes. So what we would request the team, if you guys are getting any questions, queries, inquiries from customer on HSM solution, and you feel that Key Vault is not fulfilling all of the requirement, we can always route the request to Fortanix team so that they can evaluate and chime in there for their products and services.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, team.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
And hope to see everyone next week for another session of Azure Power Lunch. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.